Hello everyone and welcome to another session of Office Hours. My name is Adrian. I am the CEO and founder of Groundhogg, and my sole purpose is to help you overcome obstacles in your business that are preventing you from launching your funnel, growing your list, and scaling your business. So today we're coming to you live with Office Hours, and we are covering a specific topic today. We are going to be talking about cart abandonment in WooCommerce. So a lot of our audience here, and hopefully those of you who will be on the call, have used WooCommerce before. WooCommerce is an excellent checkout system and cart system. Very, very, very powerful, very, very popular, and is pretty much like the most popular e-commerce platform on the planet. Maybe not the most profitable, that would have to go to Shopify. But WooCommerce has just about 4 times as many users as Shopify does, so pretty popular. And at Groundhogg, we have some specific tools that enable those of you out there who sell with WooCommerce to do some pretty fantastic stuff. All right, so this session is being recorded. Just FYI, all of your comments and questions may or may not end up on the internet at some point, so just keep that in mind. If you don't want to participate, that's cool. You can just listen. If you do want to participate, though, that is what the comment section is for. Go ahead and type out your questions in the chat, and I'll give you a shout out. I'll repeat your question live here on the call, so anybody who's not constantly reading the comments will get the benefit of hearing the question, and then we actually tackle that online right here live as soon as it comes in. So if you're just joining us, why don't you go ahead into the comments and actually just say hello and let us know that you're here. I see Nora is here. Welcome to the call, Nora. I see Zane is also here. Welcome to the call, Zane. It's good to have you back. And if you want a shout out, just go ahead and pop into the comment section there and give us a little shout out. Zach is also here. Welcome to the call, Zach. All right, so we're talking about cart abandonment for WooCommerce. And essentially, cart abandonment is an easy way in a very, very simple funnel to implement. What it does is it simply gets people who leave their cart at checkout to come back and actually buy whatever it is that they were missing out on. I am doing this specifically with the WooCommerce example in mind. However, this same strategy can also be applied to Easy Digital Downloads, our really simple payments extension. If you're using Stripe or any other checkout system that has webhooks or API enabled stuff, you can use it with Shopify and Colin Longworth's Shopify integration. So there's a ton of ways that you can implement it. I'm just using WooCommerce as the example because it's kind of like the easiest one to demonstrate. So let's go back to my face here. What am I trying to do? Okay. We're before the Q&A period. Okay, so before we get started in actually doing the demonstration here, a couple prerequisites for this particular training. Number one, you're going to need to have some sort of cart checkout system that you're currently using in your business. This is not necessarily going to be applicable or as applicable to service-based businesses or any sort of business that doesn't have some sort of checkout component. This is really for those businesses out there who are using checkouts and have digital product or even physical product sales going on their website. You're going to need Groundhogg installed, you're going to need WooCommerce installed, or EDD, Stripe, etc. And you're going to need the Groundhogg integration installed as well. If you're using WooCommerce and you have the WooCommerce integration installed, we actually make the setup process of Abandoned Cart really simple because there's actually a template that you can just click Start Building, and what that will do is it'll just get you started with all of the pre-built steps and pre-written emails for you. So that is really, really, really awesome, and that'll save you a lot of time. If you are using a different system, you may have to build it out from scratch, but that's okay. We're going to go through that process as well. But first, we're going to get started with the template. So I'm going to click Start Building. If you have the WooCommerce integration installed, you're actually going to have a whole bunch of custom WooCommerce benchmarks, which is going to make it much easier to actually build this funnel. And I'm going to go to screen only and remove my face. Okay, so let's get started. I am just going to change the name just to Abandoned Cart. Get that other stuff out of the way. We have a few stuff going on. We have a few benchmarks. We have 3 benchmarks in here. We have 2 sequences of emails. All of these designed to get people to the checkout. So our funnel starts off with when any product is added to the cart. The reason that we do this is essentially we're tracking an interaction if someone adds something to their cart on your website. And we're guesstimating that the average checkout time from someone adding something to their cart to actually reaching the checkout and purchasing something is under 3 hours, right? Generally, if someone adds something to their cart, they're checking out within 3 minutes, maybe 30 minutes at the most, but definitely under 3 hours. We're guesstimating that if someone takes longer than 3 hours to make a purchasing decision, then that means that they are or have abandoned their cart, and maybe they got distracted, maybe their mom called, maybe their credit card was declined. Whatever reason, we want to be able to track that. So what we have here is we have when someone adds something to their cart, so I go to the website, I add something, and then I'm waiting 3 hours. Again, because we're saying that if it takes longer than 3 hours to make a purchasing decision, that probably means that they're not on the checkout page anymore. So what we're going to do at that point is we are going to send them an email. You could also send them a text message. You could also send them a variety of other things as well. But in this example, we are using emails. And we have an email here. It says Abandoned Cart Recovery. We're going to go ahead and edit that. And we have some pretty simple contents to get started with. For this example, I'm also just going to be using the standard email editor. You could also use the more advanced email editor and get some images and stuff in there. But for the purposes of demonstration, plain text for me will do. So we have a pretty standard subject line. You left your cart behind. You could add your own subject line here, although I find this one works quite well. In the content, we have a few things going for us. So number one, if you're using WooCommerce with the Groundhogg WooCommerce Integration, we actually store the cart contents as part of the Groundhogg contact record, and we track that. And you can actually merge their cart contents into the email. So if for whatever their memory is really bad, you can remind them of explicitly what they added to their cart. So that's something super powerful. And what's even more powerful is we have this secondary replacement code here called WC Restore Cart URL. What this does is it merges in a special link that takes them back to their cart and restores whatever was in their cart, even if they're on a different device. So this means that if I am checking or originally checked out or wanted to check out on my computer, but then I got this email and I was on my phone, if I clicked that restore cart URL, I would restore my cart on my phone so I can continue the checkout process on my phone or even on a different computer. So both of those really powerful in order to make your checkout experience ridiculously simple. So the key parts here, WC Restore Cart URL and WC Cart Contents to merge in cart contents and Restore Cart URL. So let's. I'm just going to go ahead and save this so Groundhogg will stop nagging me. And then in our Reclaim Cart Reminder 2, we essentially have the same thing, except the content is a little bit different. We mentioned that they still have a few things left in their cart. And again, it doesn't matter if they still have like their WooCommerce cookies or if they're on the same computer or anything, because we're actually storing all of that content as part of their contact record. And we can restore that later. If we're sure you don't want them, these items are not reserved. So if you have limited quantity items, it's probably useful to mention that you have limited quantity items, because the fear of missing out is one of the most powerful marketing tactics on planet Earth, and probably one of the largest incentivizers for consumers. The fear of missing out, for Black Friday is a massive example of the fear of missing out. Everybody wants a good deal. So you don't want to miss out on any of those deals. So quantity, a timed discount, all of those things make great pushes to get people in order to purchase things. And then we're also doing that restore cart URL. Now this next part is optional. Now some businesses may choose to add an additional incentive in order to get someone to buy if they haven't made a purchasing decision yet. And to do that, we have a couple of replacement codes that'll make that easy. For example, if you wanted to further incentivize this person by using or providing a discount code, let's say within the next 3 days, use this code to get 30% off your first purchase or get free shipping or get whatever, then you can absolutely do that. So I'm gonna go click my replacements button here, and I'm gonna scroll down, and we have a couple of discounts. We have WC % discount to provide a percentage discount, and we also have a WC flat discount to provide a flat rate discount. So let's say I wanna give $20 off their first purchase. I can merge in WC flat discount, and then I can put a period, and then I'm gonna put 10. Now this will provide a $10 off coupon code merged directly into the email that they can use and go apply during checkout in order to get that discount. I can further qualify the discount by providing a specific product that it's available for in brackets and an expiration date in circle brackets. So let's say I only wanted to allow the discount for this product for product IDs 1, 2, and 3, and I wanted this code to expire after 3 days. So we have 10 for $10, 1, 2, 3 for the downloads or products that it's available for, and then in circle brackets we have 3 for this code expires after 3 days from the day it was generated. So super powerful stuff there. There we go. So now they can use that code to get $10 off their first purchase. You can also change this, of course, with WC flat % discount in order to provide a percentage discount. So in which case 10 would no longer be $10, it would be 10%. So once we're ready and happy with that email, we can go ahead and mark it as ready. We can update it and get home close that. You can send as many emails for the abandonment process as you want. So we can add another delay, we can add another email, and you can just keep adding emails. Typically, if you've sent 3 over the course of 3 days, the conversation is probably over, and you might want to try a different tactic by adding them to kind of your generic list, by adding them to some sort of long-term follow-up sequence. If they're after 3 emails, 3 days, and they haven't made a purchasing decision, they're going to require some additional incentive, or at least be brought up to a higher level of product awareness in order to be able to continue and make that purchasing decision. There's also lots of reasons why people don't buy: the credit card decline, mom calls, etc. So what we're essentially doing here is we're just trying to mitigate kind of like the lower level reasons that people don't buy. Typically, cart abandonment will help increase sales by 10%. We have cart abandonment on our own store, and that increases probably about 20% by reminding people that, hey, listen, you need to make this decision in order to improve your business, and et cetera, et cetera. So that just goes to show you how powerful this process can be. So this funnel will end when 2 things happen. So number 1, we have emptied cart here in the middle. So if they empty their cart, because this will take them to the cart, and they go ahead and they empty it, then we're just going to put them into a new sequence, and we're going to start a different set of emails. So number 1, we're going to just send them a "you emptied your cart" email. We're sorry to hear that. So it says, hey, first, it looks like you're not ready to check out today. No worries, no hard feelings. Hopefully we'll still have the following items in stock for you on your next visit. And you can continue to use the WC cart contents here because, again, those are stored in the contact record. So even if they remove their items, we're just going to hold on to that so we can say, hey, listen, we're going to have these for you next on your next visit. If you actually want to get your stuff today, you can recover your cart. And again, we're putting the restore cart URL. Now, even though they emptied their cart, we can still hold on to all of the products that they originally had, and we can restore those so that even though they emptied it, hey, listen, are you sure? Because here's how you can go get them right now. And again, you can add an additional incentive here in order to provide 20% off, 30% off, $20 off, whatever it is that you feel is necessary in order to incentivize this person to make a purchasing decision. And you can also, again, add additional emails for the emptied cart process. You can also add an additional tag here and then move them over to some sort of other abandonment process or long-term nurture or blogs or whatever it is that you want in order to continue the conversation, but just not in the context of getting them to check out and buy something. And finally, once they've actually purchased something, all of this is skipped. So if they add something in their cart and within 3 hours they actually make that purchase, guess what? They just go straight through and they're not actually, they don't actually receive any of this content. They just product added to cart, product purchase, they go boom, boom, all is well and done. So really simple for people who don't actually abandon the cart. They just skip everything. If they buy from one of these emails, they skip this part and they just go straight to the bottom. If they buy after the emptied cart, they just go straight to the bottom and they mark purchase. You can add additional tags here if you want. You can add additional follow-up after they purchase their product. But essentially, the product purchase is the endpoint of this funnel because it's actually achieved what it was supposed to. Now, the great thing about using or implementing cart abandonment as a funnel in Groundhogg is the epic reporting that you can actually put along with it. So if I open up the reports for this particular funnel, it'll be empty because there's not actually funnel or there's not actually any content because I'm just on a demo site here. But it'll show you the conversion rate and the actual abandonment rate. So the conversion rate will include everyone who's purchased as well as everyone who goes through the abandoned cart process. So you can see this is the percentage of people that actually check out because of this funnel. You can also see the abandonment rate, and that gives you a really clear indication of how many people actually abandon their carts. As long as they have the contact tracking cookie, by the way. I should mention that this process is dependent on tracking for this person or for the visitor being enabled. That happens via them filling out a form, either through the Groundhogg form or any of the form integrations, them being logged in with a user account, them clicking a link through an email. Essentially, any way that we can track or log that this person is who they are, we can start this funnel. But it's not going to work for cold traffic that has never given you an email address, essentially. What I would suggest for those of you who's like, well, I want to be able to track everybody, is you should absolutely have an easy way for a pop-up or something, or just an easy way for someone to give you an email address and give them 10% off. That's like really like the e-commerce standard. Even on Groundhogg, we have a million ways to get 15% off. If you didn't get 15% off, I'm sorry. But we do make it quite easy to find discounts up to 15% off for Groundhogg. And that's because we want their email address up front so that we can make this happen. We can make these added to cart processes happen so we can continue to follow up with this particular person. Louis is on the call. Welcome to the call, Louis, and he's saying, great funnel, Adrian. Well, I'm glad you like it. A lot of people are using this particular template, and I think it works quite well, and it's really easy to implement. Now, if you're not using WooCommerce, that's okay. You can set up this exact same funnel using a couple of other triggers. For example, if you're using something like WP Fusion, they actually have an abandoned cart tag. And what you can do is you can just use the tag applied goal and then choose which tag you want. If you're using something like some sort of SaaS service, they might be able to send webhooks when someone abandons their cart, and you can use the webhook listener instead, and you can use webhook listeners for these particular benchmarks as well. So lots of ways to continue to expand on this funnel, not just using WooCommerce. We use EDD on our own store, and we have all of this also set up for easy digital downloads if you're a digital product seller as well. Okay, I'm going to take a break, and I am going to stop talking for 30 seconds. If you have any questions about this particular process, or about how to implement this particular process, or if you want some best practices, now is the time to ask those questions in the comments, which I am monitoring right now. So please don't be shy. There are no silly questions. Everyone on this call comes with a different level of experience and a different level of know-how, and my purpose here is to bring everybody up to a similar level and make sure that everybody has the information that they need in order to launch their funnel, grow their list, and scale their business. So hop into the comments, ask your questions, and I'm going to take a break and have a sip of my coffee. I'm not seeing any questions for this particular funnel, or at least not related to this particular funnel. So I guess what we'll do then, in the absence of questions, is we will slide on over to open Q&A. So open Q&A is your opportunity to ask any questions about anything Groundhogg, anything email marketing, anything digital marketing. If you just want advice on how to grow your business in general, I do know a little bit about that, and if I don't know a particular answer to your question, then what I can do is I can also point you in a direction to somewhere where you'll be able to get an answer for that question. And I do have a question from Zane coming in, and Zane is asking, where do I actually download the template for this funnel? So if you're using Zane WooCommerce with the Groundhogg WooCommerce integration installed, it's actually just going to show in your templates area. So we have two templates specifically for WooCommerce. We have the review request and the abandoned cart. Both of those templates are available actually just here. But what I can also do, Zane, is I'm going to just download the original template here, and I am going to get you the export URL. So Zane, just click the link that I'm about to post in the chat there for you, and that will be the link for you to actually just download this funnel directly from where I was building it. And you can go ahead and you can import that into Groundhogg at a later date.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, questions. Anybody, anything about Groundhogg, about digital marketing? I am currently an open book, and I want to be able to help you kind of get the ball rolling and make sure that you have everything that you need in order to convert leads into customers, convert customers into champions, and so on. Zane says, awesome, thanks. You're welcome, Zane. Please don't be shy to ask questions. There are no silly questions here. All questions made equal. All right, well, I'm not seeing questions come in, so that could be one of two things. Either everybody's too scared to ask questions, or I just do such a good job on office hours every other week. And here we go. Thomas has a question. So Thomas Dunbar is asking, is there a particular invoice and proposal plugin that can integrate with Groundhogg? So there are a couple invoice tools out there. A lot of them can integrate with Groundhogg through Zapier or through our webhook integrations directly. In terms of direct integration, let me think about that. I'm not particularly aware of one. We tried to build out an integration with a WordPress invoice plugin called Sliced. or sliced invoices, something like that. Although it didn't really go anywhere because the integration hooks just weren't really available in order to make it feasible. Tom is using Sprout. Let me just quickly open that up. And I think we actually tried to build an integration for this one as well, but again, there was something about the developer hooks that just didn't make it feasible, and it just didn't work out quite that well. Although it looks like that might have changed recently. But what you could do, I'm not sure, Thomas, how technologically or developer inclined you are. You would be able to create a custom integration just by hooking into one of these filters and actions. What kind of integration specifically are you looking at, Thomas? If you can provide a little bit more information about what you actually want to happen, then you can let us know. By the way, I should mention it is our intention to add invoicing and quoting and invoicing to Groundhogg as a core feature in the second quarter of 2021. We have something called Really Simple Payments, which is our kind of like really simple e-commerce version of our plugin. It essentially just allows you to create really simple checkout forms that you can put and build directly within the funnel. And it has some sweet little reporting going on, and it's just really, really awesome. And we are going to be adding invoices and quoting to this plugin in the second quarter of 2021 to come along out with the new UI and everything. So I should mention that we're going to be making that available in the future, Thomas. In terms of direct integration for Sprout, if Sprout offers webhooks or anything like that, I would ask them, and then what you would be able to do is just integrate directly with our webhook listener, which is super easy to set up. Basically, you just copy this link, send a demo request, and then map a whole bunch of fields, and that's just like a really easy process to go through. So I would go ahead and try that. If that doesn't work, then what we may need to do is just open up a feature request, and we can go ahead and see what the feasibility of building out an integration for that for. New integrations and kind of like new features in whole are currently on pause until the second quarter of 2021 because we have our roadmap planned out until then in terms of bringing you a brand new UI, funnel, and email editor experience, which is kind of like our most important calling right now, is making all of that just a little bit more easier, a little bit more usable, a little bit more accessible, etc. So, if Sprout wants to get in touch with us and maybe develop their own integration, then that's something we'd also be certainly happy to help them with because we have lots of developer hooks that would make that process easy as well. Maybe just adding a tag when someone pays an invoice or you send an invoice out. So hopefully that helps in some way, Thomas. I know it's not really like a clear answer. So to sum up, webhooks are probably the easiest way, or if they have a Zapier integration, that'd also probably be really easy. Or you can have their developer contact us and we can sort something out with them directly. Tom Wood is asking, the cart abandonment funnel, can we easily modify that for Gravity Forms? Absolutely, you can. So if you want to use cart abandonment for Gravity Forms and use the Gravity Forms payments, then what you got to do is you have to essentially track when they visit that form, right? So we have to track that somewhere. There's a couple ways you can do that. If you're sending from the email, you can use a specific like super link, or you can use any of that. Probably the easiest one is to use the page visited benchmark. If you have the page visit script enabled on your site, so you can use the page visited benchmark and just type in the page where your form is hosted. And then essentially what you do is your product purchase would actually be the submission of the Gravity form. You wouldn't necessarily need the emptied cart process because there's no cart to empty because you're not adding anything to your cart in a Gravity form. So you just need the page visited and you would need the product purchase to make that happen, Tom. Andrew Zimble is saying that this would work as a quote follow-up funnel as well. Absolutely. So if you're sending a quote and you want to follow up, this is exactly kind of like the same principle. So yes, this would work as a quote follow-up as well, and you could send reminder emails up until the point where you track that quote was actually made, that purchase was made. Tom is asking, we are trying to decide how to charge for digital products, member access courses, etc. Would you recommend one cart over another? There are so many to choose from. So it really depends on what plugins or what systems and processes you're using for each. Depending on where you are in the world, taxes are kind of like the main differentiator between what's viable to use and what's not. So if you have to charge like VAT or HST or any of that stuff, then it can become a little bit more difficult to use some platforms over others. For example, in Canada, we are required to charge HST for digital product sales in Canada, and we use EDD because their taxes allow us to do that, but we would be less able to use something like, or charge for courses through something like Lifter LMS because they don't have a tax setup that I'm aware of anyway. And you might need to use something like WooCommerce if you have taxes. So stuff like that makes it a little bit more complicated to use some platforms over others. So it really just depends on which one you are using. Generally, the most comprehensive software or digital product sales solution is WooCommerce because they have integrations for pretty much everything. And usually all membership and course products integrate with WooCommerce as a digital payment gateway. So it is a little bit more of a beast and a resource hog to set up, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of just like the most comprehensive. If you're doing digital product sales in terms of like WordPress plugins and software, then easy digital downloads is no brainer, like the only real way to go. Because with WooCommerce, you have to set up a whole bunch of like custom licensing stuff, and that's just not fun. So hopefully that answers your question, Tom. All right, we are in open Q&A period, everyone. So please feel free to jump in and ask questions and post them in the comments. I'm monitoring them. What happens is I just repeat them here on the call. And I want to be able to help you overcome some sort of issue or move forward in your business. And I want to be able to help you with anything that's currently blocking you from doing that. Even if it's a question like, how do I get more customers? We actually have systems and processes for attracting more customers. So we can talk about that as well if that's something that interests you. Or even those like just broad general questions. Thomas says, I saw your roadmap and it looks great. In the distant future, is Groundhogg moving towards an all-in-one business management solution, invoicing, proposals, project management, or more staying in the CRM marketing automation sector? My vision or my kind of my 1 year to 2 year vision, Thomas, is staying in the CRM and marketing automation space. There are some really, really great project management tools out there like Basecamp or Teamwork or Slack and stuff like that. That's just really more suited towards handling some of those inner business processes that really just wouldn't make sense to have in WordPress. So I foresee sticking to the CRM and marketing automation area versus an all-in-one business solution. Simply because that's what I'm passionate about and that's what I know a whole lot about. I don't really know a whole lot about project management except besides using our own project management software, as you can see behind me on my whiteboard and all of my mad note taking. There's my project management system, everybody. But in actuality, I just plan on building tools that make it easier for businesses to launch their funnel, grow their list, and scale their business. Though tools that help with that mission is what we are focused on building. Project management, a lot of that stuff doesn't necessarily fit directly into the things that are going to be able to help them. That's really more systems and processes versus kind of like getting money and getting leads and getting invoices in through the door, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying no, but I'm saying that's not our focus. And we want to ensure that our product is able to deliver on our promises in the best way possible that we're currently making before we start expanding into different areas like that. Tom Wood is asking, is there anything like Cartflows for EDD, or does EDD do what Cartflows does for WooCommerce? No, there's nothing like Cartflows for EDD that I'm aware of. I mean, EDD, when you're using EDD for digital product sales, like software, the customer relationship and the funnel looks a little bit different than when you're working with consumer products. Like, consumers don't buy digital software all that often, unless it's like video games or Spotify. They don't buy WordPress plugins. So the relationship between people who use EDD and are selling to people who would buy something from EDD is a little bit different. So there's nothing like Cartflows, because typically it's like, here's the software, go check out, sign up for your subscription, you're good to go. It's all inclusive, because as a business, you're expecting it to be kind of like an all-in-one price. There's no upsells, there's no anything like that. It's like when you're going through Groundhogg, it's not like we offer like 1,000 things for you to buy, because we include all of our value in that kind of one price point. So nothing kind of like that I'm aware of for EDD, although if there is, and they are out there somewhere, then I apologize for not including you if you eventually watch this on YouTube or something. Tom, you're saying that your customers are buying courses. So if they're buying courses, then Cartflows is kind of a good way to go. That's typically a little bit of a different kind of audience than people who buy software, and that's a little bit of a different conversation. They're investing in education, not necessarily software, although we do have an education component. So Cartflows is a good way to go, and setting up a funnel for that would make, I think, a lot of sense. So yeah, in that case, if you're doing that, WooCommerce is pretty much the way to go. Yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. Keep the questions coming, everybody. I'm enjoying this. I want to make sure that you have the information you need until next Tuesday to get the ball rolling and keep the leads coming in. Tom, you're saying that you think Groundhogg and EDD can do a lot of things that Cartflows can. I mean, from what I understand, I've never actually personally used Cartflows, except maybe while we were developing our WooCommerce integration, we didn't make sure it was compatible with Cartflows, which, as far as I'm aware, it is, by the way. What was I going with that? Cartflows is really about like building funnels and having like specific checkout elements in kind of like the ClickFunnels sense. And not necessarily from like the marketing automation standpoint, where we're handling all of the email follow-up and all of that stuff. So Cartflows is really about like the front-end user experience, while we're more of on the follow-up and the back-end user experience. So that's really kind of like the difference. I love EDD. I think it's great software. It's not, if you're selling courses, I don't think it's the right choice. Just an FYI, I think if you're selling courses, WooCommerce has the better integration suite. For EDD, it's really the developer's choice, because as a developer, I can integrate it with everything that I need to. And you might be able to do some of that with kind of like EDD to Groundhogg to whatever, but I think WooCommerce just offers more integration, out of the box integration opportunities for you. Zane is asking, if I were packaging a couple marketing automations for local small businesses and one of them on our website for reviewing and purchasing, would EDD be the best solution for that? Yes, I think if you're doing a kind of like one-off digital product sales of digital files, EDD is a perfect solution for selling ebooks, for selling digital files, for selling funnel templates, all of that stuff. EDD makes a great solution for that, Zane. So absolutely, I think EDD would be the best choice in that specific scenario. Andrew is asking, can you set Canada as the default country on a form? So it should be if the IP address of the person is actually coming from Canada. If it's not, then that might be something we need to look into. But you can, I think you can. You know what? I'm not sure though. So Andrew, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. That is an I don't know right now. So I'll have to check in on that for you. Keep the questions coming. We are in our open Q&A period. If you're just joining us on the call, make sure that you're jumping into our comment section, our live comment section, and you're asking questions so we can get you answers. Everything right now is fair game. Thomas is asking, I use Divi for all of my clients' landing pages and sales funnels. Can I define different contact modules for different sales funnel, or is it just the one? So if you're using the contact form, it's just the contact benchmark. The contact form benchmark for Divi will be for any contact form on that website, Thomas. However, if you're using the Divi opt-in module, which is different, because you have the contact form and you have the Divi opt-in module. Now, if you're using the Divi opt-in module, then it kind of works like the way Elementor works, in which case you can apply a specific tag when they use that opt-in module, or when they submit that particular form using the opt-in module. I'm saying opt-in module a lot because that's what it's called. So you're going to have to use the opt-in module. If you're using the contact form, then all contact forms will start off the contact form benchmark. And that's just the way that Divi is built. I can't say that I'm a huge fan of Divi because its backend is very difficult to develop for, and not what I would necessarily call extendable from my point of view, except if you're developing like custom Divi blocks or custom Divi modules. When you're trying to integrate with existing modules, it's a little bit of a nightmare. But I digress. What you have to do is you have to use the opt-in module and you have to apply a tag when someone submits that. So not the contact form module. Hopefully that makes sense. We do have documentation for this. Let me go grab it. Extensions. I need to go to Divi. Yeah, how to connect the Divi opt-in module. So you want to go check this out, Thomas. Yeah, it's all there. Beautiful. Oakley dokley. Keep them coming. We have 15 minutes left of this call before there's a hard cutoff. If there are no further questions, we will end early. So get your questions in now to keep the call going. All right, I think we're just about done then. I don't see any additional questions coming in. If someone sneaks in a couple before I'm done kind of the roundup or the closeout, then we'll go ahead and answer those. All right, so first of all, if you need additional resources beyond the help you were able to get from this call, we have plenty of ways for you to get additional help. We have our Academy site, academy.groundhogg.io. That's where you go for free courses, also all of the recordings of these particular office hours calls, also tips and tricks and other videos and just general awesomeness. So go to academy.groundhogg.io for that. If you need implementation help, then what you need to do is you need to go to our certified partner directory, and you can find a certified partner in your area that will help you implement Groundhogg and make sure that you get off the ground running. If you know someone who is using CRM and marketing automation, or who needs CRM and marketing automation for their business, but they're not currently attached to any provider, you can go find our affiliate registration area, /affiliate area /registration, and you'll be able to sign up, get an affiliate account, and you can actually earn 10% recurring commissions for the lifetime of that customer for any plan that they buy. If you're not following us yet on social media, you should be. All of our social media is at Groundhogg WP, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So go make sure you're going ahead and you're following us on all of those platforms. We'd love to be able to communicate with you on social media and keep you apprised of all of the awesome things that we're currently doing. If you have yet to leave a review, reviews help us significantly. Reviews allow us to get more developers, to get more funds, more customers, and all of that essentially just means more features that you want and love faster. So please go to our WordPress.org repository page and leave a 5-star review for Groundhogg, and I will be eternally grateful. Okay, if you have additional questions There are lots of ways for you to get additional answers beyond this call. You can continue to comment on this video. If you come on this call late and you're watching it later, no worries, continue to comment, we'll help you out. You can post in the Facebook group. That's what the Facebook group is for. You can message our live chat on the website. You can open a support ticket. You can add us on Twitter. You can email us at info@groundhogg.io. Lots of ways to get in touch with us. We try to make ourselves as accessible as possible for the purpose of making sure that you get the answers that you need in order to succeed, launch your funnel, grow your list, and scale your business. I want to thank everybody who spent time on the call with me and everybody for asking their questions and sharing the things that you need help with. I really appreciate it. I want to thank you for taking the 46 minutes out of your day to spend with me. I know we're all business owners, we're all busy, and it's a lot to ask someone to spend 45 minutes of their day listening to someone talk on Facebook Live. So I just want to extend my appreciation for spending that time with me. So office hours will continue next week, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be an afternoon call. Everyone will get an email, and make sure that you're going to the office hours reminder that you received today, and it has all of the links that you need to go add to your calendar in order to make sure that you get reminders for these office hours in addition to the email that we send. We want to make sure that you're on top of that and that you're joining us. So please go make sure that you're adding that to your calendar. Thank you, everyone, and I will see everyone next week.